volume here a little bit. Don't want to have this be too loud. But yeah, hello, welcome. We're about we're gonna get ready to stream in a moment. It seems like my capture card is in the corner there. I should probably put an overlay of what we're gonna do today in the corner. Yeah, I didn't set the stream up before, so we're gonna. Oh hey, Matt, how you doing, man? So I clearly didn't set the stream up before. How's my audio sounding, by the way? Is it good? Audio is good. All right, cool. Yeah, because I never really test out, and I just go live. Cam seems warped a bit. I don't know. Maybe that. But the thing is, it's like my other scene has the camera cropped, so it's only on me. So this angle kind of like, man. It's not cropped. It's not cropped right now, but it will be cropped in a later scene. Anyways, I'm not sure why. It might just be the camera's a little too close to me because my monitors are pretty close, right? Anyways, we don't really need to. Let's just get right into it. Let me make sure my dashboards are all up. But yeah, cool. All right, let's get started. Yeah, I'm gonna probably leave the music running on in the background just because it will keep the empty noise at least to a minimum, right? So yeah, let's just go ahead and get started. So it's funny that you're in the chat because you were part of when I initially showed this off, right? So I thought it ended up being a pretty great system. So I was like, all right, maybe I'm gonna just continue it on, right? So let's see what did I add to it. So well, first and foremost, in the singleton script, I'm gonna move this over. In the singleton script, it's become a virtual void, just because we might need to. Oh man, this music is a little harsh. I'm gonna turn it down a little bit more. Let's oh no, volume mixer. That's what I want, and there we go. That's that. That's a little bit better. All right. Okay. Cool. So this has become a protected virtual void, so that any script that needs to be a singleton, such as this object pooler that is now new, um, can override the awake if it needs to, because the object pooler does need to. So what are we doing here? Public class object pooler. We create this thing. We create this pool class, and we create an enum for to hold all the different level piece types. So we would have to create. We'd have to keep adding to this. So there may be a better way of doing this, but for now, this works just fine. And over here, we have we have a list of pools that we can create in the inspector, and we have a dictionary of level pieces that has a queue of game objects as the thing that holds all the pools, right? All the object pools, all the different object pools. So on awake, we make sure we're a singleton so that anybody that needs to pull from the pool can. and we create everything right at the start. Uh, this this is if we have a list of pools already created in the we have a list of pools already created in the inspector, right? So when we awake, if we do, we create the pools that have already been created in the inspector. Otherwise, we have a function called add pool. So another script can add a pool if it creates a pool, right? If it creates one of these classes, it can add a pool if it needs to, right? We have this. We'll talk about this in a moment. Um, then we have return to pool. This is just putting the object back into the pool. We have spawn from pool. This is passing an object to spawn in, and a position and a rotation, grabbing grabbing it specifically. So on the prefab, basically the tags of the prefabs are linked to these enum values. That's basically how I've set it up. There's probably a better way of doing this, but for now, this is easy setup for me. So the tags are linked to these enum values. So when we pass in a prefab to spawn, we can grab what tag it is, and return it as a current type. So the return type function, which is incorrectly named. Okay, the return type function is just you pass in the tag, the string, and if it equals these things, you just return the the according enumerator. And the reason why we do it this way rather than do like a switch statement or anything like that is, if you think about this, how many logic blocks are we creating when we do this versus how many logic blocks would we create if we were to create a switch statement? And if we were to create a switch statement on the tag, right? So in this scenario, we would create too many, like, this isn't as performant as this. And algorithmically, all we have to do is just kind of, oh, if our tag is this, one piece. If our tag is that, one piece gap. If our tag is that, three piece. So we return what needs to be spawned. And this is just the now interface to spawn things, spawn items. So now my level generator can change its list to be in a pool, right? The prefab list. Because the pool, remember, the pool has prefab, the type of piece it is, and the amount that needs to be generated to be stored in the pool, right? So that's all already there. All that data is here. So instead of just storing the prefab in the level generator, we can now store a pool, a bunch of. We can store the pieces as pool pieces, and you can increase and decrease the pool size, and kind of do that as kind of a difficulty scaling thing, right? So it's like your you can have like a random generation algorithm that kind of takes that into account. I haven't even thought that through yet, but let's leave that there. All right, let's go further. And then we keep our current level pieces in a list just so that we can return them to the pool when we need to, right? So uh, on our start, and the reason why this is also a singleton, and it requires component object pooler. So what we do is when we create our level generator, it will automatically throw an object pooler on the same game object so that all the scripts just work, and we don't have to worry about if you put an object pooler in the scene or anything like that. Um, what we'll do is we'll spawn on start our level piece prefabs list, right? You just go like, oh, just grab all the pools and then just call the add pool function, right? Just boom, 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 add pool, add pool, add pool, add pool, add pool. Honestly, what we could do is instead of make this a singleton, we could make this a static class. Honestly, that might be a better idea. I'll look into that I'll look into that a little bit after. Um, we'll randomize a number. So right now it's still just the random number thing. I haven't created any insane other algorithm yet. We grab the game object from the spawn from pool function. We add it to our pivot, or we add it to our current level pieces, and we basically spawn all our starting pieces after our first piece, and then our spawn level piece function basically just changes to, instead of instantiating, to using it from the pool. Our DQ piece just has a check, just has a sanity check here, because while I was doing this, things were happening, so I just added a sanity check here. We can probably remove that, but we can spawn the level piece when we DQ, and then remove our first piece. And in the object pooler, when we DQ piece, or hold on, when we return to pool. So now in our object scroll script, the thing that's moving all our platforms to the side, we just have to call our return to pool function just to throw it back into the pool when we get to that position. And our object pooler kind of has this level gen instance DQ piece, which I don't really like, because this is kind of like a I wanted the referencing to be going one way, not the other. I don't want the object pooler to know about the level generator, so we're gonna need to see the problem is you have to return it to the pool before you DQ the piece. Um, I mean, I guess we can just move this to the object scroll script like this. This is probably better because I don't want the object pooler to know about the level generator. It's like it should only be going the other way, right? The communication. Level generator looks into the object pooler, does what it needs with the object pooler. Object pooler can be like aside from this enumeration, this object pooler can be kind of like taken and moved into any different project, right? So save that. Save that. Let's test it. And we have a bunch of console messages to let us know how many objects we have. We should constantly be hitting 17, like every time a new piece despawns, or well, 18. You know, like every time a piece despawns and a new piece spawns. I honestly just brute forced it and made it myself. I didn't. I normally I'm hard headed like that. Oh, what happened here. We have a lot of pieces, but I guess we have a lot of gaps. A lot of gaps came up. So let's pause here for a second. Let's select. See, look, so many gaps came up, and this is impossible to like traverse it unless you had like a unless you had a where is the yeah, see, like the colliders are all like they're all like next to each other, except for like these ones over here. But like these are all next to each other. So there needs to be some sort of logic that determines, oh, what's a gap? What's a what's a gap that has a trigger? Because if you remember how I set up the prefabs, and maybe I should stream this as well so that like later people who watch the stream afterwards understand how I set up the prefabs here. And we're gonna probably fix this up a little bit so that the prefabs aren't as complex as they currently are, so that they don't need to be, because they don't need some of the stuff that I made in them. I just use this as a quick way to a quick and dirty solution to find the transform values that I needed. But I can math it, so we're gonna do that. And honestly, I can math it easy because there's something that Unity has that I know about that I've used multiple times in other projects, kinematic equations and stuff. But I just brain farted it when I was making this. So we have our one piece gap, which is basically just one unity tile, one unity unit. It has a parent object that is the corner of the corner piece or the pivot piece of the collider, which doesn't really need to happen anymore. And then we have a rigid body on this with an object pooler script. And then we have the next spawn position, which is the opposite corner. And then we have our one piece, which is just the box collider. And this is the gap, so it's just a trigger, so you can fall through it. And what's cool is if you do some cool things with the player, now that all the gaps are triggers, you can do things like if the player falls off the platform, you give them a little extra leeway to jump, and then if the player times their jumps correctly to hit that extra leeway every time, because you can call on trigger enter on these functions now, you'll be able to call on trigger enter on these on these colliders. You can do cool things like imagine I would let's think of something gameplay related that can be done with this right now. If I were to code this in, I'm not going to, because this is going to be in a bit. But imagine I time my jump and I hit that little extra leeway timing. I could pop open a UI element and it could just say like almost, like you almost fell, right? And things like that to add a little cool flair to your game. And it's a funny circumstance of how I made this object pool. How I made this level generator. But yeah, I just thought of that after I made it. I'm like, oh yeah, these are all triggers, so I can probably do cool things like that. So the one piece pivot is just the same thing, but instead of a trigger, it is a complete box slider. And what we're going to do now is we're going to condense all of these objects into one object, because I don't need to do all this. I don't need to know the one piece pivot like this. I honestly can build a complete script that will take the box slider and give give me the extents and the corners of it. I've done it in the past many times. So it's like I just brain farted um, when I was teaching. I was like, oh, let's just quickly do the quick and dirty solution. But this is the easier method is in our object scrolling script. We can create some helper. We can create some helper functions and helper functionalities, and this requires now the box slider to be on the object itself. Now I need to think about this though, because we're gonna have to pull the object scroll script. Oh yeah, I mean, I guess I can make these public functions, so that works. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna add a reference to our box collider 2D collider. Oh, I think we already have that, right? Yeah, we do actually do. So we're gonna call this bounds. My bound or bounds. Do we have a variable bounds? Oh no, that's not it. Okay, so we don't have a variable bounds. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna say if collider does not equal null. What's going on here? Oh, okay. So I guess it doesn't. That's a depreciated. That's a depreciated variable. So let's go box collider 2D. And we're gonna have to go new box collider 2D collider. So to override the current collider that's depreciated. And then we're gonna say collider collider equals get component collider, right? So we're just grabbing, or we know it's going to be a box collider 2D because that's what we're going to base our game off of. So let's create some helper functions, and this guy is now going to require a component for best practices. And honestly, I should be namespacing these things. Should I refactor everything right now to namespace? I'll do it after. I'll do it off stream. Type of, and then I'll explain why I did it. Rigid body 2D. Type of box collider 2D. So just make sure that those two things get set always. Private member can be removed as a value. Oh, I just need to use it. So now that we have the collider, we're going to create a couple public functions. Public vector 2 get bottom left corner return vector 2 0, and then what are we going to do? We're going to make 4 of these functions. Right, bottom left, bottom right, top left, top right. So we're gonna create these bunch of helper functions on the object scroll script, just so that when we instantiate or when we pull from the new pool, namespacing is not fun. Yeah, that's the main reason why I'm saying like I'm just gonna do that later. Honestly, let me put the ultra low latency on. Oh yeah, it is on. Okay, cool. All right, let's. Oh, hold on. Let me pause my music for a sec. All right, let's save that. So what do we return? We're gonna return new vector2 here. Um, Bottom left corner. What is the bottom left corner? So let's we have a bounds value. So we're gonna say collider dot bounds dot min dot x. So that's the minimum x value of our collider. So the bottom left corner is going to be the minimum x value of our collider, and it's going to be collider dot bounds dot min dot y, right? So the minimum y value and the minimum x value gets us the bottom left corner. Do you understand that, right? So let's copy this over. Let's paste that over. Bottom right corner is going to be the maximum x value and the minimum y value, right? We're going to paste that over. Top left corner is going to be the minimum x value, but the maximum y value. And the top right corner is going to be the maximum x value and the maximum y value. Right? So we now have 4 helper functions to get the transforms, to get the positions that we need to spawn, because z is going to be 0 all the time because this is a 2D game, and we have the positions that we need to spawn our level, our next piece and stuff. So spawn level piece. When we pull it from the pool, so instead of grabbing the this child or whatever, you know, like the 0th child transform, we can call this vector 2 spawn position, and what that's going to be now is going to be that current level piece still, but it's going to be get component object scroll. So we're going to grab its object scroll component, and we're going to because we're always spawning at the bottom right, we're going to get bottom right corner, right? So this changes to this, and now our spawn position, our new piece becomes our spawn position here, and you know, quaternion, oops, we can say quaternion dot identity as the rotation. That should be fine. Now, what happens to the level pieces? The level pieces can now be collapsed into one object, right? We don't need to. I didn't need to do all this. I didn't need to do all this nonsense because I was just kind of like, oh, let me just freestyle something, and I completely blanked on the bounds, on the bounds class that Unity has. So what we can do is now, next spawn position, that don't need to be there. One piece pivot can kind of like create empty game object, or hold on, can I like move it out? No, it doesn't look like it. So what am yeah, I didn't realize that you can't just change the root like that. That's okay. What this means is I'll just have to create new prefabs, and that's okay as well. Let's just delete them all. We don't need them because they're pretty much the same thing as this. So now it's going to just be a 2D object, sprites, square. I can just put the object scroll script on it. And what we're actually going to do here as well is we'll go rb.gravity scale equals 0, just so that we're kind of protected, you know? We're protected on the gravity scale so that we don't accidentally we don't forget to set it on any of the prefabs. And, you know, always prevent bad input, right? Always prevent bad input. And what we should also do is we should also say if collider or like if either of these are null, this isn't going to work. Like our game's going to crash and stuff. So this is where an exception can be thrown. Because we require components, so this shouldn't ever happen. So this is where an exception can be thrown. But I'll just do like a debug.log error for now. Hey, something is not right with game object dot name plus game object dot get instance ID, right? Just so you know what object is causing the problem. This probably will never hit, but hey, just to be sure, because we're going to need to use the collider and everything, right? We need all of this. And if it's not working, it's going to break everything. So you just protect yourself from bad input, right? That is always what you want to do. If you have any other people that want to watch and would like to, it would definitely help me out, just because I am trying to get this more eyes on this, get the ball rolling on me doing this more often. Maybe earn some money off of it as well. Who knows? Anyways, let me put my music back on. Persona. Let's see. All right. All right. So that should fix that, and now we need to fix the actual prefabs. Okay, so that's good. That's good. We'll call this our one piece. Oh yeah, and also I created these tags to link up with the object pooler, right? But I was thinking, couldn't we do like on creation of our pool, we go prefab if, I guess, prefab, if we have a reference to a prefab on creation of our pool, um, so on the constructor, we need our prefab, we need level pieces, piece type, right? And we'll need our size. Int. We're gonna say this dot prefab is gonna equal prefab. Oh yeah, and honestly, you don't need to do this. Oh yeah, actually, this was what we're gonna do. We're gonna go. How can we do this actually? Because we're not gonna be able to. We're not gonna be able to call this function in the constructor of that class. Because what I was gonna do is, or well, actually, we would need the return. We would need the other function. We would need the opposite function of this actually. So it would have to be like a string. It would be it'd be a string return type, and yeah, I can make scriptable objects for the pieces. It makes sense to do it, but for now I'll just leave it here. I need to think about that a little bit more. But if I do change them to scriptable objects, which makes a lot of sense actually now that I think about it, it's just gonna be a lot of copying and pasting, so it'll be okay. We'll pass in level pieces type, and it's basically gonna be the opposite function of this, right? So it's gonna be if type equals level pieces dot one piece, then return one piece, like whatever the tag is, right? So yeah, exactly, whatever, right? So I need to oh man, this was my jam back in the day. Oh, we only have to do 3, right? Because one piece gap, 3 piece, and the reason why I'm doing this is just to it's gonna automate the process of creating everything, because it's like either you give it a type or a tag, and it will automatically choose the other. Does that make sense? Oh, and I don't actually need this. We don't need the last, because we know 3 piece gap, 3 piece, 1 piece gap. And this sounds like I'm like boxing you. 3 piece is like a slang term for beating people, for like punching people 3 times. Right. Anyways, what do I want to do next? The thing is, I can't call that function here, unfortunately. So it would have to be like a, if it was a scriptable object. if the prefabs are scriptable objects, they could have functions on them that could. And this object scroller script would be baked into them, right? Baked into the scriptable object. Oh man, why didn't I structure this why didn't I structure it that way in the first place? Oh, it's because I was literally just like freestyling the lesson. Hmm. These are things to think about when you're actually trying to construct a bigger system. It's okay. We'll continue on our pace right now because like honestly, we need to first check to see if this is mathing correctly. Yeah, it's not too late to start switching it over, but we need to first see if this is mathing correctly, right? So let's go ahead and do that. All right, just making sure everything's kind of set up. And gravity scale is gonna turn off anyways, but we're gonna turn it down just to be sure. And we're gonna tag them now, and we'll figure out this whole configuration process, automating it, um, in a bit. Like when we talk about scriptable objects and all that stuff, that can automate all this, right? And that's what that's where I messed up in the creation of these. But for now, let's just check if the math is mathing correctly, because that's first things first, really. Um, all right. How about we just test with the one piece for now? Right. One piece, and we just delete, and we're just gonna have one piece just constantly streaming along the bottom. That's what should happen. Oh, what happened to our console? Hey, something's not right. Hmm. You have a box collider. Oh. Well, no. Hold on. So it's going to be 0 to 1, and it will always give you 0. So that's fine. That's why the first one spawns. And when we spawn the level piece, we want to get bottom right corner, but it doesn't work. Why? Because it'll start at 0, 1, 2, 3. Why? Why is it a null reference? The rigid body is working just fine because it gets set. the collider is not set. Is it because I called it new? But now it's going to tell me I have to use new. Yeah, use new keyword if hiding was intended. Yeah, that's exactly what I intend to hide, that collider. Why would it be a null reference? Because the thing is, it's like everything should generate. Oh, you know why it might be a null reference is because the next piece. No, well, actually, this piece would exist already. You have it, and it should exist already. So the bottom right corner should exist. Because like the way it could be an execution order thing, which is why namespacing is so important. Because namespacing can help you with making sure that only certain things are ordering a certain execution. But the thing is, it's like you grab the collider, which makes when you spawn the item, and when you spawn the item, you add it to our current level pieces. And the thing is, like, the way that we're spawning our items, we're just doing this add pool function, right? So in our level generator, we just like oh, whatever things we have in this, we're just going to add it. So however many we have, like I have 20 in this pool, I'm just going to add it. And then after that's done and they're all set to false, then I'm going to grab a random one and put it in my start position. And then add it to my current level pieces. And then I go look in how many starting pieces I want, and I spawn those. We need to make sure that the starting pieces, because I don't have any when you pull from pool. If it's not, you add more. We need to make sure our starting pieces, 15. So 15 pieces should be fine because we have 20. We have a pool of 20. So 20 pieces are going to spawn and 15 should be active, but only one is active because something happened here. Object reference not. Yeah, see, you get bottom right corner. So the collider messed up, and it's funny because it's like this happened after. This was called after that was called. Okay, well we'll breakpoint it. Let's take a look. Start here. I'm going to go through it one line by line. See how it's running. Did it stop? Doesn't look like it. Oh, it just froze a little bit. All right. All right, there we go. Okay, so one piece clone. Okay. So we're going to step into count one, and it has the current level piece. If we take a look over here, I don't see it, but let's just continue going. Yeah, 1 minus 0, and current count is so at 0. We're going to want to get our object scroll script and get our bottom right corner. Collider is null. Even though this object's already spawned, because this object clearly should have spawned when we did this, right? So let's let's play again, and let's see what's going on here. Okay. So yeah, we're gonna always get 0 right now because that makes sense. And then so after when we spawn from pool, like in the spawn from pool function, we're setting it active, right? And then we return the object to spawn, and we do this if it doesn't exist, and that's not the case at all in this whole scenario, because we've already ran the addition of the pool over here, right? So if I go step into, we're gonna try to find the object pooler, step into the object pooler. Be like, what are we looking for? We're looking for one. What? We're gonna step into. It's gonna equal one piece. So now cur type is gonna equal one piece. Yeah. So we're gonna look for if we contain it, which we do. So we're gonna grab an object to spawn, which is currently null, but we dequeue it from our queue. It becomes an object. We set it to true. And we have a position and a rotation here. This is the start position, start rotation. I wonder if because we set it when we add pool, because we set it to false immediately after we instantiate it, it doesn't get any time to run its start function. Yeah. You understand what I mean? Because the way I'm object pooling, maybe it's not even getting any time to set its start function. Maybe that's never even happening. I'm gonna have to stop. I don't think it's gonna even run, honestly. Oh, I closed it and then I started again. Oh, it did run. Uh, like, that makes me laugh because it's like, it looked like it was. Oh, I forgot to attach it. It only ran one time on maybe the first object. When we try to pull from pool afterwards, is that what's happening? Like, well, the thing is, the first piece doesn't even have like it even though that looked like it was the first piece there, the first piece doesn't have the. Okay, so we get the first piece. Yeah. The thing is, it's like it might be. Yeah, it's not even that. I might just need to put this in awake even. That would work as well, though. You're right. Oh, the collider is in the wrong place, though. Obviously, nothing's. It starts issues, but then it corrects itself. But there's something wrong with the collider, obviously. Because when the other piece spawns, because the colliders are initially giving the wrong information and they're spawning all at the top. So, yeah, we're going to initialize it before we set it inactive. Um, so right here, before we set active false, um, we're gonna go object scroll. Like we'll just make like an init function. Eventually, we'll make this. If this is a scriptable object, we can just have an initialization function on it, right? Obj dot init, and then obj dot game object dot set active, right? So that's what that becomes, and right here we're gonna create. Oh. All right. That very specifically tells me this runs, this runs, this runs. And that's always one big thing that you need to make sure you understand your order of execution because dot game object. The funny thing is by me getting the component of the object pool. See, the thing is like by me calling the init function, it's gonna force the start function to run first anyways. That's like the funniest thing about this. We're gonna run this over here. You understand what I mean? By doing this, um, by doing this, it's gonna force this script to compile and run, and start will run before the first frame update, and then init will be called. It's a compilation thing. Ooh. The init ran, but this you had it. Cause like when you add the pool, oh yeah, that's true as well. You're right, so that they don't like collide with each other. But you can see like it's just always two, and there's only one error. It's the null reference for the first one. But yeah, let's make that collision matrix, which is an easy thing to do. Oh yeah, we have to make new layers for this. This guy is going to be on ground, and we'll make a gameplay, right? And in our collision layer, ground, when you're in ground, all you collide with is gameplay. You don't collide with yourself, right? You only collide with gameplay. That's a good idea, just so that I don't the rigid bodies don't push each other off, because that might be what's happening. Well, right now it's order of execution. Maybe I should just start changing this into a scriptable object now. That'll probably help out. All right, let's go ahead and just do that. Okay, so what are we gonna call this? We're gonna call the scriptable object, I guess, level piece. But we already have like that. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, we could call it I guess we'll just call it piece. I'm really like not organizing this thing properly. So a piece is a scriptable object with create asset menu, file name. The file name of this is going to, the default file name is going to be piece, new piece, and is it like this? Yeah. Oh, we have to do it like this. File name, menu. Wait. What would the menu name be? I guess it would just be piece. We can call it level piece. Oh man, this now opens up so many more opportunities. Like, what if I make shapes, sizes, heights? So many things can. Oh, this opens up so much. Holy, I have. This is like overwhelming me a little bit. Thinking about like what I can do with this. All right. Well, first things first. We need. This is a scriptable object, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna make this kind of we're gonna make this kind of funny. We're gonna create our we can create like a. I guess we can also do like a. Does it have an internal reference like that? Yeah. Okay. Cool. You're gonna see what I'm gonna do with this scriptable object. It's gonna be kind of funny. Okay. Um, that's fine. All right. What we'll do is public level object pooler dot. No. What am I actually trying to do? Level pieces. No, I won't build it from a prefab. Imagine if all you do is choose my type and it just constructs the entire type for you and constructs the entire prefab for you and it stores the references in these things. Do you understand what I'm talking about? Oh my god, you know what I realized? Oh no, never mind. I thought I put a rigid body on it. All right. Yeah, the scriptable object will hold the type. Oh yeah, actually you're right. You're gonna make one instance and then based off that prefab. So yeah, this changes it a little bit. Yeah, I can't do it that way. It has to have a public game object reference prefab, and I have to use that. But with that prefab, I could still hold reference to my colliders and stuff. Yeah, so you'll make one instance of each piece. The prefab will store. Yeah, so you just do object pooler dot pool. But the thing is, like, you don't need the entire pool class because you don't need the size. But I mean, technically you can, right? You could consider each one of these pieces. It needs to know its own size and all of that, right? So this class makes sense actually, having this object. Yeah, you're right. Okay, so this would be object pooler. Um, hmm. We're gonna call it. Uh, I guess we're gonna call it my. Because this can control the pool size now as well, right? Like the scriptable object can control its pool size and everything. Um, um, I guess you can just call it pool. And we're gonna store a list of pieces now, right? Over here, which will just be you could resources.load that even actually, right? All right, let's move that. Let's remove that. All right. What else do we need? Okay, so this will incorporate our size, whatever, all of these things. What else do we need? We'll because we can have a prefab from that. The thing is, we still have to have like I guess we could store a public reference to our object. No, that doesn't make sense. Because it's going to be like the spawned item, and the scriptable object could hold the things that we have, like object pool, and you put the thing in it, but like because that'll hold the type as well and everything, I guess. Because you can then when you grab you could give the scriptable object in here instead of just the level pieces. The dictionary could just be like the pool itself. Like the pool object is now the thing itself, and it doesn't need to be like its own level. It doesn't be a level piece type being passed into it. You just pass the pool itself. But what if you don't have access to the pool? That's the problem. Like this makes sense to pull out the entire pool, or like the queue. See, this doesn't make sense actually. This isn't really a pool. This isn't really a pool. This is like it's like pool type. because the pool is actually this queue. That makes more sense. Like some of this code is like it's making me kind of like I'm like, oh man, I didn't name these things properly. I was doing like fevered midnight coding. All right. Um this requires us to like change this a little in a bunch of areas just cuz uh hmm, like yeah, fevered 3 a.m. Or well, fevered like midnight coding isn't the best thing to do. But I mean, everybody does it. It's not a it's not a knock against it, unfortunately. Like it's just an unfortunate circumstance that like my brain works best sometimes, well, most productive in those times, but it also errors out with certain logic. See that the problem now is I make this a scriptable object and I have the prefab and everything. Nothing makes 5 a.m. commits. Yeah. Oh my god. All right. But this is now a these pieces in level pieces prefabs dot uh no, this isn't this it wouldn't be. You still need a list of pool types. No, but that doesn't make sense because this is where you need the pieces. The pieces will be where the object pooler. Oh yeah, we don't actually even need the level gen to do this now. Actually, you have you don't actually even need the level gen to do this now. Like the reason why I was instead of pools, you make a list of pieces. Um, and in the piece, all right. So we're gonna just grab the list of pieces in our object pooler. Current pieces. We're gonna create a new queue. Um, so pieces dot size. Yeah. So like yeah, all the references to all the things happen in the scriptable object. Um, on like inside the scriptable object, I can drag and drop and I'll grab all the references. You're right about that. Um, so now I can go pieces. I dot pool dot prefab. Like this is what it just changes to, right? Um, uh, it'd be no. What am I saying? Pieces. It would be cur piece. We do that, and then it would be cur piece dot piece type. Cur piece dot pool dot piece type. Right? I think that's good. And now in the scriptable object, you can do a public because this, you know what? We'll do this in the pool type. Whatever references we need can go in here actually. What do we? Well, I guess if we have a reference to our object scroll script, that should assign these references properly. I would assume so, because like we need to get reference to our object scroll script. So it should hopefully grab the rest of the things. In the level generator, level piece prefabs. Oh yeah, I don't even have this anymore. So if we wanted to do the same sort of thing that we were doing here, like the add from pool and everything, I would have to create a new list, pieces, for each piece, cur piece in pieces. We're gonna say cur piece dot pool, right? We just throw in our pool there. That fixes that. It would be pieces dot count, pieces dot random number dot pool, pieces dot count, pieces dot random number, pieces random number dot pool. That fixes all of that. Now in the scriptable object, I'll have reference to this, which, like, just by doing that, that should force the start to be called. Like, honestly and truly, it should. If it doesn't, and we still have, did I put the init here? No, I didn't, because we didn't specify the object scroll. So we're gonna remove the init. But honestly, like, this should force the start to be called. And if it doesn't, because I'm gonna be doing the reference, remove this. I'm gonna be doing the reference inside the scriptable object. And honestly, this is all the scriptable object needs. It just needs this. and then we attach all the references in the inspector. Let's go ahead and do that. By doing that, it should hopefully make sure that I do not have any of these null reference things happening. Oh, it's because I removed init. All right. All right. Let's save that. All right. Let's just go ahead and swap it over now. We still have to build these out, but now under pieces, we should be able to right click, create level piece, call it one piece. Prefab is that, it's one piece, it's object scroll script, right? We just give it its own scroll script, give it 20. And honestly, like, this should be able to be like automated. The step like assigning its own script should be able to be automated, but if this should allow us to when we go into our object pooler now and we pull out our piece, we don't have to get component anymore, right? We don't have to get component anymore, right? Current level pieces. It's the game object current level pieces. Shoot. This shouldn't be game objects anymore. This should be pieces. No, that doesn't make any sense. This would be the game object. I need to think about this a little bit more. Because, like, I get the game object back to store it here. The thing is, it's like the object scrolling script is on every single object to move it off to the side, and that's the thing that's storing all the references to each individual components. And the problem is, it's honestly, like, I don't understand why I'm getting like a null collider reference here. Like, if I just did like get component collider 2D. Like, if I just did this, it might work. It might honestly just work. But I don't want to constantly be calling get component. Like, I should be able to store the reference and like the way I had it structured before, this should just work. But I don't understand. Like, because like the way I'm trying to think about the structuring this, it's making no sense in my mind. Like it, the way that I've structured it previously still is a little bit more optimal, like less complex, because you don't want to add complexity just for complexity's sake, and that's what it felt like when I was doing that. So it's better to kind of just move back to what we were before. um but yeah, get component object scroll, because the thing is, it's like the way that I am storing my current level pieces, it's not the scriptable object, it's a game object. So it the thing is, it's saying that this collider is is invalid, but I know it's valid because the fact is that we have to have it on this prefab, on whatever prefab has this object scroll script. So it's like the only way that's this is causing an issue is because my object pooler is doing something with it. So maybe Unity's object pooler does something that I've not specified for. But either way, um, we should be able to just remove this. We don't even need this anymore. This makes no sense. It's just like a added complexity step. And over here, um, we'll just we'll make it the pool types again. Like it just added extra things for no reason. Like doing that. Uh, oh yeah. All right. Because like that makes no sense in regards to how we need to set that up. So no more scriptable object. We will return to you on a later date when it makes a little bit more sense as to how we're working with you. But for this block ladder 2D, everything's good on that regard. Um, level gen. one piece, which is our one piece. Let's make a 10 size of 30. And yeah, we start with 15 or something. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Hit play. See, now it's spawning and it's scrolling. Oh, now it's eventually stopped scrolling. I just want to see something here. Yeah, auto scroll script and all that stuff is fine. But it seems like the colliders are all messed up. Or, well, I mean. But you see how now by doing what I just did, I don't have the problem anymore. But the thing is here. Yeah, you can see the bounds are over here, right? You can see the center, which is my transform value. And that's weird. Why is it returning? Why are the positions so off? Maybe we have to make sure that these guys are set before they set active. But the thing is, it's like, it's weird because the math should be working out just fine. I've done it in 2D games before to get the extents. Oh yeah, see now it's in the correct positions, but the way that they're stacking is not ideal. And it's probably because I need to make sure that the rigid bodies are not rotating. Yeah. So we'll make sure that oh, constraints, freeze rotation. And then maybe we have to like give it a little nudge. Oh. Oh, you know what? I just realized something. The reason why it's happening like this is because I'm getting the bottom left corner, but I'm spawning from the center piece. So I'm taking the next guy's center and I'm spawning him below. So what I need to do is my item the transform position is not just the bottom right corner actually. It's the bottom right corner plus my own extents actually. Now that oh my god, the math is actually a little bit more complicated than I thought. Oh, that's so funny. Because it's like it can't just be the spawn position. It's not just the bottom right corner, right? You have to think about it this way. Now that let's draw this out a little bit. I just realized what the problem was in regards to the positioning of it, at least. So you have one square coming in, right? Its pivot itself is this guy right here, and you're telling it to spawn from this position. Where's the next guy gonna spawn? He's gonna spawn here. Like his center piece. His center position point is gonna spawn here. But that's not what we want, right? We want this spawn position to now be set like, oh, okay, so we're here, but we actually want it to be here, then here, right? This is actually the spawn position we want if we want to spawn with something that has a pivot on the center. So if we have our box collider extent on the X, if we add another extent on the X, do you get what I mean? It's like the full length of our X value, but so this is our maximum X, right? This is our maximum X. And if we consider there's another value in our box collider, or well, see the bounds. Okay, here, hold on. Let's play this. I just need to visualize this one more time. Okay, so this contacts. Oh, no contacts. What's going on here? All right, so you can see over here, we have like a ton of stuff on the rigid body, but that's not what I want. I want here. So you can see we have things called bounds. We have our center and we have our extent. When we, if we click upon all of these, actually, you'll notice like the extents are actually very, very similar. They're only very like minusculely off. And that's because the extents are basically telling us from our center position, how far do we go left, how far do we go right, right? So our extent to the right is +7, our extent to the left is plus +07, and our extent to the left is -07, right? So if I actually want to get my next spawn point, which is what the next function should be here actually, because we don't need to get bottom right corner actually. This is where my actual issue came in here. This isn't required. We need to public vector2 get next spawn point, right? So that's the real function. And what's the next spawn point? It's going to return new vector2. We're going to get component. This is again so ridiculous why this has to work, and I can't just set this like this. But I'll figure that out later. Our X value is bounds dot max dot X plus you know what? All right. So we get our max x bounds plus cur collider dot bounds dot extents dot x, right? And then our y position is just our cur collider dot center I guess we can just use transform dot position dot y, because like we don't need to change our y position. Our y position is the exact same. And this is actually what the next spawn point should be, from what I can kind of reason out in my head. This should allow us to build that one long line that I'm expecting along the bottom here. Boom. Boom. I figured that stupid math out. Like, it was so easy, but it's just like I kind of like forgot about that. And now you can see this kind of like it just works forever. Object pooled. Oh. Hmm. 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 The rigid bodies are off. So oh, you know what? I don't think. Oh my god, I'm gonna laugh my ass off if this is gonna fix it. If I just use on enable, if that just fixes the issue, right? If I just use on enable, if that'll just fix that issue altogether always. Ugh. Of course. If the collider and rigid body exist on enable, then we return. Because we don't want to keep doing this. We want to keep doing this though, because this is we're gonna want to say if RB if RB, then we will do this. If we have the rigid body, we will most likely have the. If we have the rigid body, we most likely have the collider. Like, my God, because we have to make sure that this isn't constantly running every time you enable or disable. But we do need to make sure that we have the rigid body to do this line of code. This is so annoying. I need to do like a bunch of ifs checks and to prevent myself from bad input. if our rigid body exists, we can set our velocity when we re-enable it. Um, we're going to just return from here because we don't need to run the rest of the function. If at this point, then we'll say if collider exists, we return. We don't need to do anything else. Or actually, if we got down here, that means the rigid body doesn't exist. So we might as well just get the rigid body and the collider at the same time and set it. So that's literally just the way that we're gonna kind of code this out. This check of if the rigid body exists will stop us from causing any sort of problems. So we can leave this, we can have this on enable, and we can now remove all this. And I'm going to leave all these public functions because who knows, we might need these corners and whatnot. Yeah, thanks. I'm gonna probably be streaming for a couple like an hour or two more. Oh shoot, I should be eating, but yeah, I'll eat in a bit and then I'll probably return. I'll probably call it a stream in a little bit and get some food. Then I have to go get my daughter and whatnot. But yeah, thanks for stopping by, Matt. I really appreciate it. So this reference all. Oh my god, it's if I just thought about using on enable from the get-go, I wouldn't have gone through all these problems here. But hey, sometimes that's what happens when you try to live code and freestyle it without planning it properly. Okay, so that's good. Save this. Now that that's kind of in place, all I have to do is kind of build these different pieces with the object scroll script, right? So duplicate that. So instead of one piece now, right, I can call this guy 3-piece. And what is he? What is the 3-piece? The 3-piece is just duplicate. Oh, see, 3-piece is going to be a little different actually. Yeah, because 3-piece now. Yeah, I guess the first sprite can be like this, and then, well, unpack this from the prefab completely. All right, so this guy, we're gonna vector snap him. And then this guy, we're gonna vector snap him too. All right, and then we're gonna look at the box collider. We're gonna remove that component. Oh. On the X, the size is gonna be 3. Oh. Oh, I understand. The size is going to be 3, but the offset's going to be 1. So now, in order for this to kind of completely consider, we don't want to do that actually. We don't want to make this offset 1. You know what we'll do? because we want to use the transform position, the middle guy of the three piece has to be the middle three piece guy is the and he has a size of 3, which covers all of us. Awesome. And you don't need any more collision on anything else. We can remove object scroll on this guy, remove box collider, remove rigid body, and just leave sprite render there. Remove object scroll on this guy, remove box collider, remove rigid body, and now we have our three piece with our object scrolling script. Make our three piece. And now three piece is one level piece. One piece is one level piece. We can delete three piece. One piece now can turn into one piece gap by making this a trigger and getting rid of the sprite renderer. We're going to unpack the prefab completely and make a new prefab called one piece gap. And if we take a look at collider, it's there. It's basically one piece and it's a gap. And that can be fine for now. Our level generator has our one piece, has our one piece gap, and it has our three piece. Let's see. Is this all one piece getting spawned? It's never anything but one piece. Why is that? Yeah, our pieces. Yeah, so spawn from pool. That's weird. You have all of these. Why does one piece is the only thing that spawns? Yeah, so it's like the random number should take into consideration. All right, let's see what's going on here. Yeah, so it should place a one-piece gap. Oh, you know what? I'm a dummy. I be dum dum. Oh no. All the prefabs are different. That's so weird. Delete this. All right. Yeah, so 11.51 negative. Yeah, so that sounds about right. Ha 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 ha. Hmm. Oh ho ho! I get it. I understand what the faux pas I actually did was the thing that I was forgetting about. The thing that I knew I was gonna forget about is to tag these things properly. Now that they're tagged properly, this should be all fixed. I should be able to have like the same sorts of. Yeah. Okay. So why are they kind of like in and out? The three-piece gaps are not. Okay, so hmm. Because the extents isn't going to work for this one actually now. Because now if you put the extents out further, it's going to be even further out. Um, you know what you have to do? You have to like snap bottom corner to bottom corner. Like bottom left corner to bottom right corner. You got to snap it. I'm trying to think. we know exactly where we want to be. Let's see if Unity provides it. Unity snap to 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 colliders together in code. Let's see what happens. Hmm. This is gonna be like a little tricky now that I think about it, because like when we align our colliders, it's got to be like we have to relay the new transfer position that we need, which is going to be the center of our object, no matter what our left position or right position is. So get next spawn point is actually going to be it can't just be this, because we have to consider what our next object is. So we're gonna do this object pooler next object, right? And what this does is if we in the next spawn point we can pass in what our next object is going to be, and we can pass its object pooler script. What we're going to say is our next object dot get bottom object pooler, not object pooler, object scroll next object dot get bottom left corner. So we have our left corner vector to next obj left corner. So we have the left corner of the next obj. So we're going to go vector to next obj spawn position is going to equal our collider dot bounds dot max x plus, oh, you know what? We don't even need this. I just need to know what my next collider's extents are, right? Next object dot bounds dot collider dot bounds dot extents dot x. And yeah, this can become a one-line code again, because it's just going to be this. And now our level gen script changes a little bit, because our get next spawn point now needs to happen. Oh, shoot. You know what's going to happen? We have this spawn from pool that gives this thing, but we're gonna have we're gonna create another function in this. Just gonna call it return from pool because um, what I want to do is you know what? Because it does return the object, I could set its position again. Yeah, so let's do that. Um, uh, we'll do just trans. Um, um, I wonder if this is gonna actually work because I don't know if it's gonna look a little. Yeah, object scroll. Oh, oop. So let's look this. So I have my maximum X. Oh shoot. I'm trying to think. So my collider's bounds, right? So this is the last collider. Its bounds. And we want to get the next collider's bounds. Because the extents are going to be let's think about this. We have one block coming and scrolling sideways. We have the 3-piece block coming and scrolling sideways, right? Let's say this is my extents.x, and if a 3-piece block decided to come, I need to add its extents, right? Because the 3-piece block with its extents would be like this. So to get the midpoint would be old objects plus new objects extents. So that makes sense to me. We can create a new one instead of spawn from pool. We can create a new function, call it return. Call it grab from pool, and all you do is just pass in a prefab. You don't even do anything. You decide to. This is a function where you can decide what you want to do with it afterwards. So we're not even going to set it to true or anything. All that's happening is we just return an object to spawn, right? And then you get to decide what you want to do with it. Whether you want to enqueue it back or whatever, but we just return the object to spawn, and you have to make sure you set this set active. Ensure function for the ability to grab to return game object from pool without setting active. This function assumes you set the game object to active yourself, right? And the reason why I'm doing it this way is because now instead of spawn from pool, we go grab from pool, and we can now remove these, and we have a new piece, grab from pool, spawn position, our new piece dot transform dot position spawn position, our new piece dot transform dot rotation equals quaternion dot identity. Okay, so set position and rotation, boom, new piece, done. Oh, you know what? I didn't set active to true, so you're never going to see it. There we go. And there's also one thing in the object pooler. What we should do is we should be using this set position and rotation instead. It's more optimized, the function call anyways. So all right. Man, I haven't eaten anything quite a while. Ooh. I just want to see this 3-piece. Man, this math is a lot harder than I expected because it's like they're not aligning how I'd expect. Yeah, see, its extent is 1.5, so that makes sense because it's 3 units long. So imagine you're a 1-piece gap and you have to be placed next to a 3-piece. The thing is, it's like, are these all... Oh. That also makes sense, because... we want to make sure that they don't have collision with each other. Ah, there we go. But still... let's pause this. These are gaps. Yeah, so that is kind of off. See, the thing is, it's like... Y is no extents in the Y. Yeah, so that's that. And then my next piece, I'm grabbing my current pieces object scroll script, which is the end of the current level pieces, which is going to be our first piece when we start. And we get next spawn point from the new piece that we just grabbed from the pool. You said it's... let's view what we're grabbing from here. And I think I'm gonna call it a stream here once we troubleshoot this, just because getting kind of hungry. All right, cool. So our collider bounds.max.x 11.01. Our next collider's extents is 0. Why is the extents 0? Okay. So not extents dot size dot x divided by 2. And this is going to be, this is the moneymaker right here. Extent is going to be 1.5 anyways, so that makes sense. So one piece, the next piece. Size divided by, what? Why is this not working? Let's see what the first collider is going to give us. Twelve 12.01. I understand. It's because the next object isn't active, so therefore it doesn't have any collider or anything. This is what we're going to do. So how do we get the next piece's extent? It's going to be new piece, be return type. Where's that return type function? Is it the object folder? Yeah, it is. So can be object. What the hell is this return type? You know what? This is what we're gonna do. Damn it! You can't make it a float, unfortunately. No, you can't like make your enum a float. Cause that's okay. We'll just do it manually, cause I might not even need to do this actually. We can go like new piece dot tag dot contains it would be float x next extent, and honestly equals new piece dot tag dot contains 1. If that's true, we're giving a 0.5. If that's false, that means the extent is a 3-piece gap for now, which is 1.5. Oh, missing. What am I doing? I forgot it's a question mark. I'm like, what was the ternary statement operator again? It's a question mark. So next extents can just end up popping in here now. And yeah, we don't even need this line, honestly. All right. This should hopefully fix this extents issue. And I'm going to need to like figure out a better way of holding reference. But yeah, this is actually looking proper now. And this is probably going to now forever scroll. No problems. You see this? We now have a forever scroller. And this is, it's because I only have these values, these specific values. But there will need to be a way to store what my extent is before I activate it, because if I can't do that, and my collider bounds, my next object's collider bounds is 0 when I'm inactive, because the box collider is also inactive. That can cause some problems. So we may. The thing is, like, upon knowing your type, there may be a variable that can be set that is accessible for you to change, right? And you can see now we have these kind of like long pathways where there's no gaps and stuff. So you can start like building like another 3-piece gap or something like that, and then we build like a difficulty system that scales to determine whether we're doing gaps or not. And then from there, you can start building like levels. Like, oh, we wanna spawn up here sometimes, or we wanna spawn up here sometimes, depending on how we want our game to kind of function. But the way that we would now build our infinite runner is our player would just look like he's running, animate like he's running, and the platforms would just be coming backwards towards us. And because our object scroller has our speed value, we should be able to continue to increase our speed as we go, to increase how fast we're traveling. But yeah, now we've kind of fixed all of our issues. It's a little bit of haphazard code over here that I figure we will be able to fix, especially if we add something over here. This next piece extent, if we maybe give it an interface or something, and be able to just call the interface from our level generator, that may be able to specify what our extent is and whatnot. But yeah, we'll figure this out, and that'll be just another things that we could add to our level generator here. Anyways, I don't know what much more to continue on today. It was a pretty fun stream. I've been streaming for about 3 hours now. We'll call it here. And if you're watching this after the fact, please feel free to tune in next tomorrow as well. I will be trying to host these sorts of sessions going forward on Thursdays and Fridays during the daytime, depending on obviously whether or not my daughter goes to daycare or not. But if I do have some free time, I will be planning on doing Thursday and Friday daytime streams. So please come and catch me on those days. Anyways, thank you for watching, and I will see you guys soon. See you guys tomorrow. Take it easy.